Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Hunter Newhart. I'm gonna call the Crook County Compensation Depredation Committee to order at 4 o'clock on February 26th, 2026. We'll go over the agenda real quick. I have to make a couple little adjustments. One is I made a mistake on the day for new business. I put February 26th, 2026, and it's supposed to be February 28th, 2026 for when our application is due to ODA, so that's this Saturday. I appreciate everybody making it out today to go over this because we need to go over a few things such as non-lethal preventative techniques, the application and the depredation techniques, or sorry, depredations and the compensation that we need to kind of address before this application. So I think that's just the one change I want to make on the agenda. Do I need to approve a change on an agenda or can I go ahead and move to?
I don't think so.
Okay. So yeah, Elena, let's go ahead and review the previous board minutes from November 3rd. Get this approved.
Absolutely. How in depth of a review do I need to do? Does everybody have a copy? Do you want me to kind of gloss over them?
Just gloss over it. Yeah, I didn't print out enough copies for everybody.
Okay. So we met on the 3rd at 3 p.m. It was a hybrid meeting. We had committee members in attendance and I was on Zoom. We had a couple of guests as well. Aaron Bott from ODF&W gave a local update. How many wolves, 140 at the time, were currently in Oregon. And then we kind of honed in specifically on Wolf OR 183 due to a confirmed depredation, and she was the only actively colored wolf in Crook County. So they're estimating 6+ wolves currently. And a reminder that ODF&W cannot do a lethal removal in federally listed zones, only document depredations. So we did some Q&A. Aaron was wonderful. We approved the previous minutes. Those were approved. We had some committee updates, returning members, John, Daylor, Seth Crawford, and new member, Linda, who's on Zoom today. And reminders that we have terms expiring June 1st this year, Libby and myself. We talked about Senate Bill 777. So I think that took up kind of the bulk of the meeting, reviewing and updates to compensation under Senate Bill 777. Just another reminder, there's 50% of grant funds must be used for non-lethal deterrence. So that's kind of a limiting factor in what we do. And then we moved on to talk about our 2025 ODA grant fund allegation discussion. So we have a little table showing the 3 ranches that requested funds, how much they requested. We documented how much they were awarded from Deschutes County, and then we had some suggestions. So all of those were approved as listed in the table. And then we started to talk about the upcoming grant cycle. Applications are open for 2026 funding to reimburse 2025 depredations and then do proactive measures for the current year. So I know Hunter's been active on social media, coordinating outreach. And we talked about, let's see, splitting 2026 funds 50-50 between depredation compensation and non-lethal methods. Some awareness, education, implementation through ODF&W. And then I think we adjourned at 4:08. Took about an hour.
Thank you. Yeah, that sounds right.
Sounds
Any
like
questions?
Oh, sir.
Anybody have questions on the minutes?
Need a motion to accept minutes as
Presented?
presented.
Second?
There. Anybody opposed? Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
They passed. Okay, now we're gonna go to our local wolf update. Got Greg Jackal here just to do a quick little update for us.
Sure. Do you want me to do it here, Hunter? I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Oh, you don't want to sit at the table?
I can, but I don't need, yeah.
it's catching you on
Okay.
there.
All right. Thanks, Hunter. Greg Jackal, I'm the district wildlife biologist here in Prineville. I'm back from a rotation, so I'm glad to be back. I started back January 1, so it's good to see all you guys again. I was doing a rotation in sage grouse stuff for about a year and a half. And so now I'm back and had a chance to chat a little bit with Aaron. So I know Aaron's out this week, but he's been really busy doing this is kind of the time we do our annual count. And so, and I know all of you are all probably aware of that, but like we generally try to get all the districts in Oregon, try to get out these 3 months, January, February, and part of March, and we try to do what we call a minimum count of wolves. And so we know it's not perfect, but it's the minimum number of wolves in the landscape. And so we do that by, looking at all of our trail cameras, following up on reports, knowing the ones that we know that are out there, and just following up on what they're doing, where they are, and just kind of documenting every one. I know last year they did like a bio blitz, but they had a lot of snow. We don't really have, not a lot of snow up there this year to go looking for tracks and stuff. And so I don't know exactly the number we've got right now in Crook County because we're still checking cameras and stuff. And it is breeding season, so there's definitely wolves moving around, and there's 183 up, and we've been aware of that and letting producers know when she gets close to their lands, and hopefully in the future, keeping working with Scott and OSU like on a I guess a way to let folks know when there's collared wolves in the area. Again, just a reminder, we don't have a collar on every pack or a collar on most wolves, so just if you see wolves, let us know. I think some people get a little complacent. They're just like, ODFW knows about these, or we should know about these. And so let us know if you see tracks in your pastures, or if you just observe wolves. And like I said, just people get complacent and they don't let us know. And we always like to get those reports, and it's easy to go online and submit those reports, or just call us. If people are asking, they want to know about wolves, call us. I mean, we can talk to them. We can't share information with everybody. We can share information with producers that have livestock, because that's in our plan, but we can't just share wolf locations with the general public. And so we got to be sensitive of that. But I mean, if people want to call me anytime, call Aaron anytime, like we're open to that. And so I guess with that, I will just say, coming back, and then, I know we had David Andrews from Wildlife Services, and then that funding went away. So I guess if there's any way to try to scrap up some money to get something together with him, like I know there's a non-lethal person that works in Grant County, but I know it's not necessarily the county's purview to have to spend money, and it should be the federal government that invests in wolf non-lethal, but it would be nice to have some extra people out there in the landscape helping with non-lethal, especially when they're still federally listed, right? Mm-hmm. So any discussions about that, or if you need help from us, I just think it's nice to have an extra person. And I know I won't speak for you guys, but I think it's just.
Can I add anything to that?
Yeah.
Our ranch sets, I'm Rihanna Bedortha, our ranch sets between Crook and Grant County. The Wildlife Services guys have been the boots on the ground between David and Daryl. Daryl's on Grant County side, but between the two of them, they're actually the people that are coming, giving us a break at night. Depending on the outfit, we can't have someone with every group of our cows spread across, I'm not gonna tell you how many acres we run on, but let's just say 30,000 acres. We can't hire someone for every group of cows. These guys come in, let my husband have a break, and able to spend time with his family at night, and they came in and helped us, and I will say we had less depredation due to David and Daryl coming and hazing wolves off of us. They helped that mitigation between the wolf and livestock conflict, and I would like to know as a producer who we can contact, even outside of local funding. We need those people. If we're gonna have these and HR 845 doesn't pass, we need people like them that we can rely on once in a while to give us a break and help mitigate this conflict and at least lessen the amount of depredations we have.
So I may be way off here, but that's not really what the Wolf Committee does. I think you're leading
Okay,
more
that's
into the
fine.
county, and I think, yeah, so
Like, how does Grant County pay for
they do it through general fund.
the general fund? Okay, yeah.
But I think it's inappropriate to have the conversation. We got two commissioners in the room,
Mhm.
so.
That's a good point.
That's fine, that's.
Yeah, I know, I just think
Yeah.
it's real touchy when you have two commissioners around. I'm not trying to dodge the
No,
question. But that would be a really good thing to come and talk to us individually at our,
and I am perfectly
At our
fine if I
county
can get
meetings.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's not readily available of who we would contact.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
coming to this meeting, is all of this is very, you kind of hearsay, like you hear someone say this and someone say that, and I have been up the chain of command. I've talked to Nick Myatt, I've talked to USFWS. I've been through all the avenues. I wanna know where producers go to get some of this done, because it's not, the
I'm just,
information isn't
we have a
readily
quorum,
available.
right?
Yes, yeah, I meant that.
I'm gonna take off. Susie, you stick around. I'm super uncomfortable. No, you stay, Susie. No, that's fine. If there's a quorum, I'm just super uncomfortable because these conversations are like
I see what you're
flipping
saying.
into other parts of our lives.
And you can
And-
tell me that
Yeah,
I need to
no,
be
but I
quiet.
don't, I can't believe, I'm concerned that it won't stay that way the entire meeting.
Yeah.
It's not you, it's me.
Okay, that's, and
Yeah,
that's fine.
and so I'm just gonna take off and
One,
I-
2, 3.
you got plenty of people on the deal. I'm good. I'm not unhappy at all. I just,
Okay,
I'm uncomfortable.
Yes,
A good contact would be Hunter.
Okay.
Two.
Yeah, we'll stay in contact
okay,
there.
that's fine, and I'm not trying to ruffle feathers, this is an emotional issue for everybody.
Nope,
I'm
understood.
just trying, the information isn't out there for producers on who we contact for help,
Mhm.
on this kind of thing of.
Absolutely, for so just keeping David,
There's
John.
so many people, I've got a whole list of people that I have to keep track of who's who.
Yeah.
Um,
As
I've
we've
never
talked
been
before.
to your meetings, so obviously I don't know your,
Okay.
borderlines of what we're supposed to talk about and what we're not, but that's why I'm here. and
Absolutely.
I'm okay with shutting up too and just listening.
Yeah,
It's a
so,
lot freer now that one of our commissioners.
yeah,
No,
definitely, which he, Seth brought up a good point.
He said I was here at Fernery Beaver Creek Ranch.
I know.
So-
Yeah, no, I know, but he does make a good point for talking about general fund came in and,
And Brianna has shared with me all the people that she's contacted.
Yes.
And like I said.
So the cattlemen's didn't help you at all?
Oregon Cattlemen's Association, I'm in contact, I'm only in contact with Diana, she's the only person I've contacted with association with Oregon Cattlemen's Association.
yeah, the president.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. John would be a good person to reach out to.
John,
Forgot his last name. He runs the chair of the Wolf
Williams.
Committee.
Williams.
Williams, that's right.
okay,
He runs
I will contact him,
okay.
John Williams.
Okay.
And you might talk to him about, having them help you with grants for range riders.
Okay, I will call him.
Good. And if different, they have a disaster relief grant they're trying to give money out to right now for people who've been affected by fires. That's a little off topic now. And last thing, big back off you, Greg, was I think you guys, your wolf reports come out in April, correct? The updated wolf reports.
Yeah,
Right around then.
around then,
Okay.
yeah, and it goes to our commission, we do a wolf report and then, yeah, summary, so.
Okay. I just wanted people to know that. We'll
But no,
update numbers.
I appreciate those comments, because like I said, I'm back to this off in this district, and I think that's important that maybe this committee doesn't have purview to help with that politics of it
Mhm.
and the funding of it, but they do approve non-lethal, grants and range riders and stuff, so I think it's good for you guys to hear that, this board to hear it and hear it from Brianna better than me, so,
Absolutely.
yeah. Anyways, I'm here to answer any questions or.
Sounds good.
Do you have a tentative count?
I mean, for Crook, no, but like, I think the Deschutes County, just for an example, I think they counted 24 in the Deschutes County, so they
Up
got,
or down? From
I
last
think
year?
it's up.
Oh,
Yeah.
One of the things we lobbied about, and I thought Seth Baylor, who is our Jefferson County Commissioner, Eastern Oregon, we have really found ourselves very, very tight. But one of the things that we hit the senators with, and obviously that's, that is on our side, but we also hit wildlife services and then what is look at our success. Look at how many wolves we have. We had an endangered species and now we have success. We've taken this off the endangered species list in Oregon and now let Oregon manage it. Why do we have an imaginary line? Why are we not letting our state officials manage? And that appeared to be something that really resonated with them, because in Wyden's case, his quote on everything was, what does Portland think? And that was why I made the comment earlier. I don't give a damn what Portland thinks, but quite frankly, we figured out Eastern Oregon and we went, and that was our thing. Let's talk about the success. They're not on the endangered species. So as much as I don't want to see a count that's high personally, how do we get the other people to embrace us and to get it delisted? And I don't care about any other state, I'm worried about Oregon. So that was kind of our national, when we went back there, that was our way of embracing it. Look at what we've done,
Yeah.
which is not, I'm not, and you know the way I feel about it, but gets it done, it gets it done.
Absolutely. I agree, completely agree.
So you guys all might think about that argument if you do get in some kind of that advocacy that, look at what we've done, we brought this endangered species back. Now we have a couple bad citizens that we need to get rid of.
Yes. And I'll talk a little bit more about that too. I was in my trip from Salem here a little bit, and we talked about 4134 and some of what the House of Representatives and some of the senators, what their opinions were on it. But I just want to keep moving this along. And next I wanted to just do a kind of a few committee updates. I just want to bring in again that we're going to have an opening for the Conservation Coexist, Libby Rogers position, and the business representative position, Elena Huff. And those two are going to be ending June 1st, 2026. So if they want to reapply, it'd be great. If they don't, definitely we're going to put it out for the public and see who applies. I'll bring that up at another meeting. Next I wanted to talk about was landfill. I know we have a program where the landfill allows us to take carcasses for free disposal. And I know David Condren and other groups were taking carcasses over and bones to remove everything off the landscape. I believe we have somebody here from the landfill as well. I don't know if you'd like to discuss about the program a little bit. If you have any questions.
So basically, any of your kills due to wolf activity or recently, we've been taking the attractive piles and things like that. The reason, and this is Aaron, our landfill manager. The reason we came today was we saw the cards on the agenda there.
Yeah.
Our concern is just making sure that we're taking these animals from the correct people.
Yes.
When we first started doing this, we saw a lot of people taking advantage of the program.
Okay.
And the landfill not necessarily takes them for free, because we turn around and bill administration and your general fund. So we want to make sure that we're providing the service to the people that need the service, you know, the ranchers and things that are losing the animals due to this activity. So we were asking for a card or something that identifies the residents that should be participating in this program.
Okay.
We have no way of identifying them. And so when somebody shows up and just says, hey, this is supposed to be free.
Yeah.
You know, we're just having an issue trying to identify the right people.
So yeah, maybe we sit down together, we come up with a good card that we agree goes to any livestock producer. And a card that you guys can verify. So it's not just a card somebody can print and write their name on.
Yeah.
Something that's distinguished.
Can I bring up another point?
Yeah.
Even though no one wants to hear my voice. So on that, Wildlife Services and part of ODF&W told us, even if they are not killed by a wolf, to stay in compliance with
Bone pits.
Yeah, that we are supposed to remove any attractants. So let's say we're in calving season right now, calves die, even if they're not wolf related. We were told that they could still come to the landfill. We bury most everything, but sometimes during feeding season, we have different equipment at different spots, makes it a little more difficult to get something buried that day, especially, you know, small baby calf or something that you're, you know, spending a half hour on. So is it only wolf depredations that you're taking, or did I get confused with what we've been told? That
As far as like the dead animals, I get the calves and stuff, that's an attractive,
Yeah.
whatever, but you know, your animals should be Actually, no, that's all.
No, if it's in a wolf
And we-
activity
yeah, We
area,
recently started
it should
taking,
be accepted.
Yeah, okay,
That
that's
is
what,
what the
We
board of
recent-
commissioners.
yeah, we
asked.
recently-
The wolf activity area, they are definitely
Yep.
in a wolf activity area, so anything if the horse dies, he should come.
yep, we
Okay.
we recently started taking the attractants. We just. took-
okay, I just wanted to clarify, just,
If
Yeah.
you got a pen here in Prineville and a wolf hasn't been here for 100 years, no, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the idea of the whole thing.
Yeah.
That was the board of
Yeah.
commissioners intent.
So is that how you're gonna, one way that you could identify? Is if they give an address from a county wolf identified area?
But that was Jackie.
So we have equipment operators, all kinds of different people from our scale costs throughout the day. That's a lot to ask of the scale attendant operators to try to look up somebody's address,
Yep.
even if we have a list out there, like.
We got called on you guys, and we said yes.
oh,
we got
because
called.
David came out and cleaned up a very old bone pit.
Yeah, he showed up and just gave his name and said it was supposed to
And
be
you
free,
called.
and we were like, it's not.
Because I knew, but
Yeah,
what if I,
It just didn't get passed down
yeah,
for the.
and that's why I wanted to ask that question,
Yeah.
is we were told one thing and then,
Yeah,
during the period of time, we didn't have time to clean it up. It's a 100-some-year-old bone pit that we were told to clean up, and
yeah.
again, Wildlife Services helped
Yeah.
clean up. And
We just hadn't been communicating that like the attractants were now being taken.
Okay.
So he just wanted to verify. And when he showed up, he just gave his name.
Yeah,
And to us, we don't know who that is.
okay,
I would think if we got a card, like ODFW had a card, and then even through Scott,
Mhm.
you know, that's maybe got a time period on it, so it's not 5 years, maybe 2 months or something. We know when wolf activity, we're in contact with landowners, we can give them the card.
Okay, where you could fill in a date
Well, I
possibly.
don't know, I mean, again, I probably don't need to fill in a date for you, but I don't want
Yeah.
abuse of it, so
yeah,
that's.
well, and we don't, I mean, we typically bury everything, but like for this time of year, we've got different equipment at different areas loading hay, so we can't always
Yeah,
bury something as easily, and if, you know, when they were already out dealing with the wolves, they took some carcasses, so they took, and then they wanted to clean up, and it's
Yeah.
a very, very old bone pit that was before we even bought the ranch.
Well, there's some that's frozen, you can't dig.
Well, and then we still have it, I mean, we have to bury some that they couldn't get to because it was in the middle of winter and it was frozen into the ground, but again, we've never had a wolf track there, but they want it. To stay in compliance, we have to have that removed.
But I think you're reading more into it than what should be there, like on the date and stuff. If you're in a wolf area and you got those wolves traveling through here, anybody in this area should be able to go get rid of that carcass that might attract that wolf.
yeah.
So is that,
So,
And the region's expanding.
is that the suggestion, is that OSU and ODFW have a card, and any producer that is in a wolf area can go get that card from one of those two? And that, they present that at the landfill saying, hey, we're bringing in carcasses, here's our card to verify. Would that be a simple process?
Have you noticed that, Susie?
No, we just, if it was basically a wolf area, and Hunter's exactly right, that's expanding.
Yeah, so I think it'd be a good idea if you and I sit together, we build a good card that is very, hard to
Yeah.
replicate. And then I think it's a great idea to go with OSU and
Yeah, we
ODFW
can
for
keep track
distribution,
of who we're giving
Yeah.
out to.
for distribution
I
purposes.
think that's the best thing, like say, good distributions, having the right person giving those cards out
Yeah.
to correct people, because otherwise it will get abused.
Yeah. I like that let's give that a try and see how that works out.
Sounds good.
I think if anybody on board, doesn't agree with it.
Yeah, because, it doesn't matter if you have 1,000 cows or 1 cow. That wolf's not gonna pick. He's gonna go kill whatever he wants, so. The little guy should have a chance to throw the carcass in there too.
While we're on that, didn't the county get a dump trailer for doing that? We
That
still-
you need to talk to Ellie Gage about, because that was at that one meeting where I know you guys were there, and she talked about buying it. And I might remember I brought up insurance, who was gonna insure it, and I don't know what ever happened, so that would be an Ellie.
My understanding is no trailer was ever purchased.
So we never did,
We don't have.
county never moved forward with that, the wolf committee never moved forward with
Which it
that.
wasn't really the county,
I know,
it was
but-
Western Growers, yeah.
Because we also talked about possibly working with Bigfoot or something on
Yeah.
renting out a trailer. And, I think David had his I don't know where you got this trailer from.
It was a wildlife services trailer.
It was a wildlife service
He
trailer.
returned to Grant County, so they
Okay.
have it now, but it would be nice to have a trailer either in county trailer or park it in our lot and people
Yeah.
can borrow it.
Yeah.
Dump trailers, not, it would be nice to have.
See, this year is gonna
For
be,
phone pits.
I remember that it went through the channels, but I never did here, and I was questioned the other day, whatever came of that, so.
That kind of just dropped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was kind of on my notes to ask that question today, so nice segue.
yeah, so this year is gonna be, it's gonna be extremely competitive on funds. The state, I think, has about 1.2 million in funds, which is gonna be divided in half, second year of the biannual, reboot of their funds. So 600,000 will be going to depredation, 600,000 will be going towards mitigation amongst every county in the state. And the numbers of depredations have gone up and the territorial wolves have entered more ground. So we're gonna see the expected, from my understanding, talking to or Senator Nash, is they're expected to people, I think it's 4.3 million. Money's gonna be expected to be asked this year out of the 1.2. That's why we're over there. OCA was advocating for that bill 4134, which is a pretty good bill, adding tax to lodging. It's basically a lodging tax, adding up 1.25% for every $100 to stay at an Airbnb, a hotel. But that money should generate about 30 million annually. That will then be added to ODFW's funds, state patrol. I think projects are like Antelope, Bighorn. The Wolves was only about 5% of that, but it's expected to generate about 1.5 million. So if that does pass, it passed the House on Tuesday. It's currently under the Senate review advisory board at 5 o'clock, so in about half an hour. And then from there, it should go to the Senate, and we'll see if there's another 1.5 million being added annually to the Wolf Fund. So once we see more funds, hopefully we can spread the money around a little bit more, or even more. Get a trailer, help everybody, David Codron, get more people involved. So yeah, I guess that's kind of what I was getting into for some new business, my trip over to Salem. But we'll see a lot happening here this next week or two with the legislation. Really hoping that gets pushed through. We do need to talk about the depredations and the mitigation applications. And I'm gonna want to start with the depredations first. We had 4 this last year. I didn't bring any pictures. It's kind of doing some discussion, and it was probably best not to have pictures of them, but I did go through all the ODFW reports, saw what were killed, what were injured. And it looked like it was 3 killed, 1 injured. And the one that was injured was a heifer that we'll discuss here shortly. So the first application I want to talk about was on January 8th, 2025. This was on McCormick's. This was a 500-pound heifer that was about 9 months old. And at that time, the estimated market value was $1,925. The bill SB 77 came into effect this year, so this would apply for that, which allows for the committee to discuss on adding a multiplier. A multiplier now can go up to 5x at a cap of 20,000, I believe it's 20 or 25. And I was told on the McCormick's, this one was injured and it was not able to breed back. And I saw the location of the bite marks. It was all in the hindquarters. And so it caused issues. They weren't able to keep it to breed it. Okay, 5x on the animal market value up to a cap of $25,000. So we haven't really dealt with the multipliers yet. So I think we kind of should come up with a good idea on how we're going to designate for these applicants on what we want to multiply by for cows, steers, calves. Does anybody have any opinions?
So on that, I would think that when you get into a multiplier, they should have to be a registered animal to start applying that.
You think the cows have to be registered? Okay.
The animal should be, yes. If you're talking about, doubling the payment on it
Mhm.
or kicking the payment up,
Okay.
they should be a more valuable animal.
Okay, but yeah, so I don't know if the multiplier, I wouldn't consider it to be a change in value, because it's gonna be the multiplier on the market value of the animal. So, right, a registered animal could be considered more, right, instead of a $2,000 market value, it could be 3,000. And then that multiplier could go from there, or 4,000, right? But I was thinking more about the age. Now, are you putting a larger multiplier on heifers, first year heifers, or cows, second year cows? Because they have a longer lifespan, they're gonna be producing
And you're
more
not only
income.
losing that one, you're losing its calf and its
Calf after
calf's
that.
calf.
Exactly. And so that's how I wanted to kind of get an idea on this.
Yeah, you could look at that some too, but there's a limit to how much you can put on that value of that animal too.
Like a heifer is gonna be more valuable than a steer. You know, a steer is gonna be a one-time market value. But still, we also consider these wolves are causing breed back issues with these cattle as well,
True.
right?
Yeah.
So it's helping out compensation for the ranchers, the producers in other ways, bringing in more income for them for being affected, not just that cow, but the other cows around them throughout the year.
And then it depends on your formula for your multiplier too, of how that's gonna kick in.
So so the multiplier goes up to 5x. I really think, you know, on a heifer, you don't know if they're gonna keep them, if you're gonna get rid of them. It's kind of a mix. And whether they haven't shown that they can produce a calf, I wouldn't give a first year heifer 5x, but maybe 4x. But then a second year calf that's shown to produce, I would consider it to be 5x, because you're losing out 10 possible years of where that breeding could go.
And then going back to what you talked about, a 9-month-old heifer weighing 500 pounds isn't much of a heifer. So,
But I have to
you
say,
have to look,
my concern about this route too, on the multiplier, so I don't know if we want to go case by case, is when we start having issues with older cows that are 6, 7, 8, 9, we're not gonna know the age. They're broken out, it's gonna cause issue on multipliers at that point. And so this is really up for discussion on how we think we should approach the future coming up here on this multiplier.
Well, I think you've kind of nailed it on the head there. You've got one or two options. Either you apply an even multiplier to everything, or you take it case by case and do the best you can to evaluate it. Well, we're talking about 4 cases this year. I don't think that is a bad option. If we're talking about 20 cases in a year,
For case by case.
in the future, that could become a hindrance.
So would we like to go case by case for the 4 depredations?
I think that would be the best opportunity for us to make a fair assessment.
And then from there, we can kind of see where our tendencies lie.
But I certainly wouldn't scratch that down in stone.
Eleni, I did not realize you were on mute. I'm sorry. I just asked on mute. Oop, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear. Sorry about that. I don't know why it does that, but I might have missed some things, but
Okay.
is the multiplier, it changes every year, is that right? So the X that we're gonna get with the cap, is that gonna be adjusted annually?
So this multiplier is just what the bill 777 states is. Now we have, as a committee, the option of extending up to a 5x multiplier, and capping the market or the animal value at 25,000. And I'm sure a lot of other counties are gonna be using this multiplier. I mean, everybody's going to. But yeah, so it's just case by case at this moment. Next year, it's also gonna be 5x, if that's what your question is.
And so you're saying that whatever we decide now, we're gonna have to carry forward as a committee?
It'd be probably to stay true as much as we can, just be kind of good. It's our first go around. I know we can change, but this kind of sets the foundation to how we're gonna be ruling case by case.
Got it. And
Yeah,
do we have an amount available to award for these 4?
so these 4, not really, this is gonna be added into our application that's sent to ODA on Saturday.
Gotcha.
So what we decide, I will apply for, and then we will see what we receive, in a couple of weeks, a couple months. And same goes with the mitigation funds we're gonna talk about.
Thank you.
Yeah. So with so with McCormick's, it was a 9-month-old, 500-pound heifer. That Holly did tell me that they did sell at the auction later that year, because they did try to breed and it was gonna happen. Does anybody have a recommendation on what they think a multiplier should be for this?
What they get for it at the sale.
What they got for it at the sale was $3.85 a pound. It didn't say which week they sold it, but from when January, during that time of when that, let's see, January 13th, which was 5 days of the sale, that calf would have sold between $2.60 and $2.83. So it did do pretty well. Yeah, I mean, it did survive and they were able to sell it. So do we just go as
And they're not, where they sold it, it's not like they were trying to get any multiple use out of it, I
No.
would say.
They did lose possibly having it as a breeder, and we know the best cows you can have right now, the cheapest ones are the heifers you're retaining. Everything's expensive, but since they were able to take it to market, they were able to sell it. Probably just see if they get compensation for being injured at the 1x value of what the market
And their
price is.
time and
Uh-huh.
stuff, so.
Yep, it's the
I
time that
would
they
think
spent.
if we added some money in there for them, it would be fair.
You think, yeah, so they're already requesting and eligible for their market price value. It's just up to us if, as we would do like last year. It was an attack, it was an injury. Now this year, the only difference is we get to decide if they should be qualified for more.
Well, they recoup what, 1925 roughly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So they recouped $1,925 out of the value of that.
And then their time and fooling around, if they got 2,500 out of her, I'd think that'd be fair.
Well,
yeah,
I still think there's the silent cost of wolf presence is impacting conception rates. So is it
Mhm.
supposed to account for that or not? Not on the one animal that wasn't able to breed back, but on the herd, right? Wolf presence shows in data that are
Every cow, every.
Yeah, but yeah, unfortunately, I can't count because it was something for us to keep in mind, but it's not something we can use to judge on a market value. Because we don't know how big of pastures they are, how many bulls they use, AI, the breeding practices, unfortunately. But it's just something that, this is why I do think they are entitled for funding. It's because it was an injury, they weren't able to breed. But I think because they took it to market, they got 18 or $1,900 from it.
Pretty fair price, that one.
I think we should put them in for another 1,925 with ODA because it was an injured animal. That is what the market value of that calf was. They weren't able to hold it back. But I don't think they should be justified for a multiplier on this case. But I do think it was injured. The time, the chance of loss or the risk of loss, it obviously would have lost some weight going to market. And that's where I stand. But if anybody else has a different opinion here.
Well, and I don't disagree that they should be compensated for their time, but if you figure half the value.
Mm-hmm. Half the value. Yeah.
To compensate them for their time, I don't know if that's fair or not, but.
Another $1,000.
$1,000 given to them. Yeah. Linda, do you have any opinions on this? Do I need to?
she's on mute too.
Oh yeah, I see that. Ooh.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I just want to make sure you're involved.
Okay.
Forget about it.
It's a little bit hard on the Zoom to hear everything that everyone said, but my take on it is, to the extent we have the available funds, determining what the value of that calf was on the day that was lost would be a good way to do it.
Mhm.
Compensate them the full amount to the extent we have the funds.
Okay. So even with the, that calf being injured and making it to the sale, but obviously it had issues, do you believe that we should compensate extra? Do we put when do we start putting multipliers? Just on deaths?
If I understood your question, I think just compensating it, you could look at it in so many different ways and
Okay.
kind of hash it to death. But at the end of the day, the price it would bring at the auction for that day seems to me like a good way for us to say, this is how we see it.
Okay. So what I think we should do is let's hold this injury and come back to it, because the next three were all deaths. And I think we can go from there, move on, and then we come back and see how we were doing and go from that. So we're gonna put the course on the side here. The next is gonna be it's actually a twofer. Actually, it's still the twofer. We'll move over. So Stafford's had this is gonna be another interesting one. Stafford's had a depredation on October 25th, 2025. And it was a 400-pound registered heifer, that is all papered, AI'd, and this one was killed. Obviously, we never really accounted for registered cattle. This one's a 6,000. I know last meeting we talked about doing average price at our Central Oregon livestock auction. We didn't really account for registered cattle. He values it at 6,000, the fair market value.
Cape Falls, they,
Okay, Knowles.
500, they were going for $5,000 and up.
Yeah, exactly. So
Where was the location on this?
this is over in Paulina.
Deployment?
And you said they had a second one as well?
Sorry, no, I ended up skipping that. I figured. we'd do
Oh,
this
okay.
one. Yeah, sorry.
But she was bred?
Value register was sold. He said it was bred. They were doing AI. I think.
400 pounds? I was gonna say.
No, this was, sorry, yeah, this one was not bred.
Yeah.
It was with his AI bred herd is what happened. Yeah, 400 pounds was not. So this one I think came out of a surrogate cow from two registered, the bull semen and AI eggs. So duly registered, it came out of a surrogate cow. Which this calf would have been in really good shape, really good foundation. This cow would be worth a lot. But are we valuing registered? We haven't dealt with registered.
I think you have to.
Yeah,
I agree.
Well, when they go to the sale, they value more.
yeah. No, he's, I have all the paperwork. He sent it to me and that cow that is registered. So now do we put now I guess we start with the multiplier. If it's valued at 6,000, we know it is. What type of multiplier would you put on it? It is a heifer. We don't know.
Didn't give any indication whether that was one of his breeding stock, that was an upcoming breeding stock, did he?
He did. That's what
So
I
that
don't.
was his intention, was to,
Yes, it was gonna be part of his breeding stock.
then I wouldn't have any problem with giving him the full value.
The full
So
value.
that's 4.166 multiplier makes it 25K.
Okay, so yeah, we wouldn't be able to do that. My one concern is also it's a cow, it's not proven, so. It's at the age that we don't know if it would be able to produce more, if it is worth $5. So playing both sides here. Now is it worth 4? Well, I guess 4.1 is 25,000.
I would think in that case of, the full value of that animal would probably be fair.
Okay. Full value, so the full value as in 6,000?
Yeah.
Okay, and so do you think the multiplier should be added to this?
the animal was still pretty young. So you have to take that into consideration too.
Mhm.
And if I may, you're also not gonna get as much money as you're gonna apply for, so it has to
Yeah.
be spread out further.
Mhm.
So that's something to consider too. I know that Deschutes County didn't get all the money that they had asked for last year, so it'll probably happen again this year, except even worse. I think you kind of alluded to that a little bit.
Yeah, it was recommended to, I know John Williams was saying, his county committee, I think, applied for an extra additional 75%, I think. With the expectations of not getting close to their number. I think everybody's increased their asking point as well. I mean, I think it's unproven, but I think it's registered. It's definitely a high value animal, as all cattle for any producer is. I mean, I think a fair price truly is probably a 3x multiplier. It's not proven that it's gonna be able to have calves and everything, which would put it around 18,000. Just kind of going from there, but in my opinion, I think the most valuable animal that deserves a 5x is a 3-year-old, been proven, bred back, doing well.
Or if you lose a registered bull.
Registered bulls.
Yeah. Would
Yeah.
be another place for a 5X, but I wouldn't disagree with the 3X on that.
Yeah.
Especially where it was intended as a herd builder.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But if
I think
anybody,
it makes sense too, the save a 4 or 5x for a proven cow or a bull.
yeah,
So I like the 3x.
yeah, opinions, truly,
Well, I think that's an awful lot of money, yeah,
it is.
even
It
though
is.
we have registered cattle, so.
And we asked for 18, we may be only given 6,
Yeah,
so.
true.
Yeah, and if it doesn't feel right, yeah, please let us know and.
Yeah.
So would you feel more comfortable with
I
20?
think, doubling it would be quite a bit.
Doubling it is?
Doubling it?
You know,
Like around 12,000? Okay,
And then if you get 3/4 of that, that's still more than the value they have.
You might not even get 6,000 though.
That's true, but
I think double's a reasonable ask.
I think
I think that's
double
a
is
good
a
compromise.
reasonable.
double. Yeah, I mean, we can, it doesn't have to be 2x, 3x, we can go 2.5, we can meet it at a value of 15. I think we need to expect and ask a little more with expectation, we're not getting the asking price this year.
True. I think 15 would be more than fair.
Okay, so yeah, let's say, for Coley Stafford, his application, registered cow, 15,000. Is that okay, Linda? Ooh, do I need to unmute you? So I swear, I don't mean to forget about you over there.
I would agree with that.
Okay. Okay, so now let's move on to this twofer we have. It's gonna be Hatfield Heights. In fact, they had one in January 2025 and one in November of 2025. So we were gonna want to take this one at a time because market price changed quite a bit. For January 2025, which I didn't do the math, I have the 3 livestock auction prices here. It was a 350-pound yearling steer. Write this down.
350 yearly?
350-pound steer, yep.
Okay.
But it wasn't a yearling.
Not a yearling.
Or not yearling, sorry, 350-pound steer. I apologize.
Maybe 13.
Yeah. And this was, it was killed on January 14th, 2025. And they've been putting out, the non-lethal prevention techniques too, as a minute first case. During that time, the market value at 350 pounds was between 350 and $4.
$1,812,
1,312.
50.
At $4, it's 1,400.
Okay. So yeah, since I think we want to go off, we decided we're gonna go off average price, right? It'd be 375 and 350. So that would be. Yeah, what
1312.
1312, yeah. So now it's a steer. Obviously, this was gonna go up to market value at some point and would have been in the 2000 range. Do you want to put a multiplier on a young steer that's in the 300 class? Because they are losing money for it being lost really early or going to market.
And then I think in their case, are they in that natural beef program with McCormick's?
That's a good
You
question.
know, because McCormick's hold theirs.
Yep, I know
and put 'em
McCormick's
through
are in.
the feedlot, you know, so that is a value loss to those programs.
That's a good point. I don't know if they're in the natural. Yeah, they didn't write that.
So I think you have to put a multiplier on a calf like this.
Okay,
I wouldn't be ashamed of doubling that.
I wouldn't either.
No,
I
I
think-
wouldn't either.
I think 2x, I think we doubled it at, for value of 2,625. Be fair market price at that at the time of sale.
It was a
Yeah.
steer.
This was a steer, that is correct.
I would think that would be fair.
It said that in the report, it was in a 350-pound yearling steer, she wrote yearling steer, in our front pasture, which is about 550 acres. We did diligently done non-lethal, including fox lights, flagery, and weaning or removing carcasses. The weaned calf died from its injuries early February. So
They did doctor it probably and spend some time on it.
Yeah, they definitely put some time to it. Which, yeah. So which argues for even more, if we think about that. Time they had to go out there, watch the herd.
And how old was that calf?
It was 350 pounds.
350.
Yeah, I don't have a
Couple months maybe.
couple months, yeah. Maybe evaluation of, for this one. Cause it is a steer. 30,000, if you're talking about time as well. Shots, I don't know if they did shots and medicine and all that, and that's up.
Yeah, if they didn't give us that information, it's kind of hard to throw it in.
It is hard to get, yeah, I can't.
Well,
throw
they're
it.
probably learning too, right? Like,
They are, and this is their first one too, yeah, they're definitely learning. But, I mean, double's fair,
I think double fair.
I agree.
we're good with that? Glenn, are you good with that, doubling?
She's on mute again.
Yeah, they should give me a head nod. Oh, he's doing some math.
So just getting myself unmuted. I was kind of looking at the figures on that. And, you know, it's, if I understood and heard right, it was a steer at 350 pounds in, was it January or is this the October one?
This was a January.
So, you know, somewhere, even at the highest market, it could be as much as $2,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, later that year, I mean, then their other one that died, which was 500 pounds in November, so,
Or more.
which is good. What do you think? Are you finding, you think a doubling at 2,600 and,
25.
$25 is fair?
I think that makes sense.
Do we need motions on these, or are we just talking?
Maybe we could just do a motion at the end of all of them.
That's what I was.
Okay. So now we have another occulhide depredation, November 28th, 2025. It is a 500 pound, which I believe 500 pound heifer. Yep, 500.
What value did they tell you?
They put a $2,200 market value on this. So they were 450 and 500. Yeah, so it's a 500 average weight. So that's a $2,200 market value. And during that time at the auction yard of November, I have prices from yeah, they'd be 475 to
No.
535. Oh, sorry, no, that's steers. I apologize. Be
I don't know, what was the weight on that again?
sorry,
What
I
was
was
the-
I messed up on that because I looked at steers. So this was a heifer, so it'd be between $4.60 and 505. That was from the December 1st auction report.
That's 2,425 at 485.
Yeah, 480,
482.
yeah, 482.5 to 43.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So 24,1250.
yeah, and yep, it was a heifer, you know, now we're 500 pounds, not a breeding weight yet, but I think definitely worth thinking about putting a multiplier on it. You know, we did that with the Staffords. We did about 2.5, I believe, was what we did on that one for first year. Is that kind of what we're thinking again? It's not a registered, but
Yeah,
It means the same thing to their program, though.
Yeah.
It
Has to
does.
register.
it does, I agree. Yeah, 2.5, I think that's good. And we keep going if you guys are good with it.
I feel like the heifers should be 3, a proven cow should be 4, and maybe a bull is 5. I don't like the 2.5. I think it should be 3, sorry.
No, I like that too.
On
We'd have to
both the
move-
heifers.
Okay, so that'd be bringing us back to the Staffords, which we gave them 15,000. It would be 18,000 if we go to 3X. But I do like that little land
That's
here. I
my
mean, these are ranchers. This money is. We gotta try to give them as much as we can because they are being affected every day.
True, but then there's a limit on that where you have to look at what you think you're gonna have as a whole
Mhm,
to disperse between everybody.
mhm. Any opinions, John? Between 2 and
Lots of
3?
opinions.
Easy,
That's the wrong question to ask me for.
That's right. You fine with going from 2.5 to 3? On first year's heifers.
You know, I was good with
Not
2,
first year,
so
sorry.
I'd actually say if we wanted to compromise, the compromise would be 2.5.
2.5,
If we've got the room split between 3 and 2s,
yeah,
you were a 2
Yeah.
and I was a
these
2.
2, yeah. No Linda's in there. Oh, you're not mute?
okay, I got you now. I mean, I think it's a tough thing to give it a multiplier. Again, you know, we've seen some of the best prices ever in my lifetime. I mean, in January, we got $7 for our calves. And so, I mean, I also paid $25 for a steak the other night at the Safeway. But, I think we have to give them as much as we think that animal is worth and we can afford, and just take the weight times what we believe the price per pound is, either at that time or now, and go for it. And that would be my dog, by the way. You hear in the background.
Oh, gotcha.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so as of right now, we're still between 2 and 3 on a multiplier. Are you fine if we went 2.5?
I could agree with that, sure. Yeah.
Just stick with 2.5 on the first 2 heifers.
I would think that would be fair.
Yeah, you said you do or no?
I do.
You do?
Yeah, that would be fair.
So a 2.5.
And responsible.
And responsible.
I mean, as a producer, you want to give them 27.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they lost a calf, they ought to get 30 times multiplier as a producer, but there's that fiscal responsibility too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we would love to give them all 5X on everything, but
But that's not
this.
That's not what we're here to do.
Yeah. So as 2.5, what would we set the market value as on that one? That was
24,1250.
24,1250.
They reported it at 2,200.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So 2.5 would be $5,500.
24,1250 times 2.5 is 6,031 and 25 cents.
Are you going by market value or what they asked for?
Mark, I was going off their market value is different from what I got from our market value. So I was going off of what our market value at the
Because we
livestock
took the average market value
Yeah.
at that time instead of what they actually got.
Yeah. So I was gonna go off of ours, which is $6,031.25.
And I think that's fair.
Okay. Yeah, so we've done keep the staffers, done this one, and now we'll come back to McCormick's. To remind you, this was a 500-pound heifer from January 8th, 2025, which is that a different market value? January. Oh no, that's fine. This one was injured, but they were able to sell it for $385 at 500 pounds at the auction yard.
I would think since we've done 2.5 times on those others, we should just follow through.
Well, did the others get to sell theirs at the auction yard?
No, the other ones did not get to sell. This
Yeah,
one,
that's true.
so this one
That's true.
ended up living for. They gave it the opportunity to breed during summer months, and came up open. Heifer was sold at the local auction yard in the fall, so it was able to gain some weight after the attack. I can pull up the exact weight, but
I kind of stick to what we said originally is give them what they got 1925 and that what they got at the sales roughly.
385 times 500, yeah. 385. 1925, yeah.
Yeah, and I think, if they had some extra care that they took with that animal, that 1925 is a relatively reasonable,
Basically a
double their money.
double their money, so 2X instead of 2.5.
But just put in straight for the, $2,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not putting them multiplier, just they're what they're asking for. I think that's fair.
Yeah,
It survived. It
Since
wasn't.
they've already got 19.25.
Yeah. Cool. We okay with that, Linda? Oh. Oh, hold on.
Mute's on.
I think
There we are.
we need to be careful that we apply the same kind of thinking to each different case. So, if we're considering weight and market price, all those items be the same each and every time.
Because this is kind of the same as a 2X if it was dead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would be very consistent in that realm because they actually got theirs too.
yeah. So you're saying you're only giving them a half percentage more if it died? You know what I'm saying? Just throwing that out there.
Or you could just,
Girls.
or you could take the value of what they said, multiply it by 2.5 and then subtract their 19.25. Come up to the
And
same,
that would, yeah,
that would be the same
consistent.
with all of them.
Yeah, I'm good with that. We multiply it by 2.5 at the price of when they sold it, because I made it throughout the year. Or sorry, multiply by 2.5, yeah, the auction price,
And then take
Because-
the auction price off.
and take the auction price off. Yeah, we can make that work. Let's see, auction,
No, another thing I think we need to consider is that as we make these awards, the farmers out there talk to each other. And they're gonna have to try to, why did one get more than the other one, et cetera. So to me, just making sure that we consider the same thing for each and every animal, depending, if it's a female, if it's a cow, that factors something else in. If it's registered, that factors something in, if it's a registered bull, but making sure we're consistent would be important.
yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah, we're setting the foundation.
so we went 2.5 and somewhere like 2,887.50. Is that what we got?
Yeah, that's what I have, but
So if you round that up to 29,
that would be more than just giving them what their market value is. What they're asking for.
Yeah, well, if you took the weight of the animal, 385, and then times that.
Yeah, but 2.5.
2.5, and take the 19.25 off, you come up with the 2887.50.
Yep, and that's more than what their request, or they're asking for, which is the 19.25.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're good with that.
So that's consistent with all those. Yes,
and that way, yeah, we went consistently down the road.
Then it gives them incentive to, really keep that animal working for it and get more money for it. Get that animal to market. I'm okay with that. Anything else?
I think that's great. Sounds
Elaine,
great.
I know I'm pushed you past your time a little bit. Were you doing okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna try to wrap this up with my notes so that because I have them all wrote down, but I gotta jump. I gotta jump.
Yeah,
So-
if you gotta jump, absolutely. I'll finish off the notes.
You want me to just tell you what I think I heard everybody decide?
Yes,
So it sounds like on the first one for McCormick's, we wanted to do, what did I hear you right? 2887.50. That's the,
yes,
okay, so we were gonna award that much or ask for that much.
Yep.
Stafford's, we were gonna do a 2.5 multiplier versus on the reported value, which is 15,000. On the two for the January loss, we were gonna go 2x, so 26.25. That was off of the average price for market value. And then again, going off average price market value for the November depredation, 2.5 multiplier, since it was an unproven heifer, is 6,031.25.
yeah, that's what I have.
Is that what everybody has in mind?
Yes.
I'm
I think so.
we need a motion then to approve.
So moved.
Thanks, John.
Second,
second,
Thanks, Dave.
okay. Anybody opposed? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Hunter,
Thank you,
I'll
Lana.
email these to you. Thanks.
Sounds good, and we're gonna do mitigation stuff real quick, and then I'll just update the notes and fill you in.
Enjoy. Bye.
Bye. Yeah. For now. Get close. Let's see, we have a couple applicants for non-lethal. Yeah, but we have 5 applicants this year. So we'll start with, where we've been having a lot of problems and we'll work our way west. Start from the eastern side. I guess we'll start with you, with the Northwest. So Northwest, we are requesting 30,000 for assistance for paying extra personnel and non-lethal deterrents such as.
It's my husband's writing, so.
Yeah.
Might have to come read it for you.
Okay, I might need it.
Yeah.
Lights, thermal, yeah, if you wanna read it, you can try.
I've had years of experience. My husband filled this out. Assistance with paying for extra personnel, non-lethal deterrents such as, shotgun, cracker shells, not cocker shells. I can't even read his writing. Lights, you know.
Box lights.
The outside,
Motion detectors?
yeah, and the security lights. Our biggest thing was thermal optics, due to the fact we haze at night. One, really unsafe to haze wolves at night, because one, you can't see, I mean, we were shooting in the air safely, but you do, even we worried, what happens, we're shooting in the air safely, what happens if an accident happens? So thermal optics, additional ATVs, cold weather gear, again, I haven't even read this, he filled this out, and additional financial assistance and something with blank right there. And then, we actually shipped 2 truckloads of cattle to Martin's feedlot due to our depredations. I could give you that bill, show you how expensive that was. And then on top of what he wrote there, we also moved our replacement heifers to a different area.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense to anybody, and I can explain further.
It does. And you've had depredations in the Mason County.
Right next to it, so if you threw a rock, you could hit Grant County, and if we moved those cattle to pasture down, we would have had, he knows, because he's been out there in our property.
Yes.
Our ranch, like I said, runs Crook and Grant.
Lots of activity.
Yeah, if we happen to move our cattle to pasture down, we would have had deaths in Crook County, we just had them all in Grant County at the time. We did ask for funding from both Crook and Grant. Also, what's not recorded on there is all the depredations that didn't occur due to all our extra hours hazing wolves, off of the area. I mean, I've got sheets of papers of how many times they were on our property.
Talked about when they were in the corrals and we ran through.
Yeah, so that's the other thing that we didn't write down there and we didn't ask for funding for, so 2025, and I can give you dates. Starting in September 2nd was the first day. We had 160 head of freshly weaned calves run through the fence. I will say, we are not people to cry wolf, and he knows it. We did not call ODFMW out. We didn't have a known colored wolf in our area. We just were like, that's really strange. In all the years that we've weaned calves, it's big netting wire fence with, stays and T-posts and railroad ties. They mowed down 8 spots of it, spent a lot of time and material and cost on our part fixing it. Again, we should have called ODFW out. We agreed. We had a heifer die that we did not turn in, due to she was run into a fence, broke her neck and was dead. So then, move forward in timeline, we had a depredation occur right after that fact. That was a confirmed wolf depredation from an uncollared wolf. Anyway, but from September through October, and I would have to look back at our notes, I'm gonna say we fixed probably 20 different spots of fence due to our weaned calves, contracted calves being run through the fence that we had to get back. I can show records of what our normal ship weights are versus what they were. definitely had a poundage. We made weight, but they were definitely lighter than what they would be typical years, but we kind of knew that they were being run, you know, constantly and through fences. We weren't always having depredations, but just that cost alone, our time and effort of fixing fences. And like I said, I'm gonna say, even though how my husband wrote that, our highest thing to ask for would be thermal optics, because it is so hard at night, and typically at night is when the wolves were depredating. To be able to see them on where to go to haze them and haze them safely. My husband and I are parents. We're not interested in facing a lawsuit. We don't want to lethally injure a wolf. We're trying our best within legality, what we can do to haze her off. That amount that we wrote doesn't even touch what we've been through already the last year.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're definitely in an area with a lot of wolf activity. There's no question about it. I don't really see, well, I guess the one issue is such as a shotgun. I don't know if the
That's
county
fine.
would fund a shotgun.
You can take that
but
off. It's
The
just-
shells definitely.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I mean, ammunition wise, we've gone through boxes of shells.
Yeah.
Firing off, and especially without thermal optics, we fire off more rounds because we don't, the one night that she pinged by Gary's house, my father-in-law's house, so she pinged right in our cow herd. We didn't know quite where she was, so we just kept driving around the cow herd, you know, firing rounds off in the air. You go through a lot of ammunition, and it is expensive, but that's one of the only tools that has worked. Unfortunately, when we haze her, she just goes over and kills on a neighbor's property, but
Absolutely.
I mean, it's one of the only effective tools we've had is actually getting her off of our property.
You did tell your accountant about that, right?
What was that?
You did tell your accountant about all those expenses?
Well, I mean, either way, they're a write-off because of the fencing materials, but I can say my shoulders feel it after how many new T-posts we pounded this last fall.
In the past, I know the committee before I was on it, they've done thermal before, but I think they did a cost share at 50%, with thermals. I don't know at this point if it's a cost share is needed. I know thermal is a good tool, when you're having to check your animals during calving season. I use mine for calving season. When I use out there to find my calves, it's a handy tool in January. Don't know what anybody's opinions are on that. If it
I'm
should be.
old school, I still use forward-looking infrared.
I'm gonna have to switch over one of these days. But yeah, I don't think you're beyond the realm of your asking of the 30,000 at all.
I feel like it's a low number. If I gave you our feedlot bill for, you know, what we took those 2 truckloads of steers into the feedlot for versus what we could have paid for feed and fed them at home, because we did have to get them out of that area. And then on top of that, we did hire a new employee in February, because we had to move our replacements over, and we moved our first calf of heifers over to a leased property it's still in a wolf area, but it's less depredation area.
I'm gonna agree with you. I don't think your number is out of the realm. I think you guys have had a lot and you guys are putting a lot of work into it and,
You want a motion?
so for this, it's kind of, we just need to discuss on if we think the number is appropriate for when we're sending this application into ODA. Deciding the amount for their payouts is gonna be at a later meeting when we find out. Yeah,
Well,
so,
I have initial concerns. I mean,
Okay.
the thermal doesn't concern me, even the ATV,
mhm.
but you're talking about, you mentioned Range Rider.
Well, I think you put, extra personnel, which we hired an
Yep.
employee for.
And I don't know what you think you're gonna find for 30K for a Range Rider, but I think this is low.
I agree. I think it's.
My husband, some of you know my husband, he doesn't ask for handouts. He
I'm-
literally turned this in like a day before it was due. That's why it's not typed up.
arguing that, I'm telling you that I don't believe your number is high enough.
No, it's not. We also have never applied for non-lethal deterrence,
Yeah.
and we were split between two counties, so how do you weigh that? We did, I don't know what Grant County decided, I couldn't make the meeting. We asked for the same amount from Grant County. We don't wanna be unfair to other ranchers that are needing non-deterrence. We know this is a cost on us. We've already incurred the 2025 costs. Obviously, all our depredations were in Grant County, but we won't get paid for those. We can incur those costs and we accept those costs. But I want it documented that this is costing us money
Absolutely.
to have the wolves. And so that is why we put in for it, and you're lucky my husband even put in for it, because he just is not that
I
type of
appreciate
person
that.
to ask for a handout.
I remember getting the message on New Year's.
It was a tough,
Or New Year's
he
Eve.
held out for a long time even turning it in, but he did, so,
Thank you.
yes, I agree with you, it's way low.
And, you know, there is a certain point where you reach where, hey, it's just the cost of doing business nowadays. And you're going to incur some of those, you know, as a producer, you're gonna incur some of those. But the fact that you put in, appreciate that, it helps the whole process. But maybe next time you encourage him to put in a more realistic number,
Well, and
because that will help the process.
I agree with that, but then again, it's the same with the multiplier. There's only so much money, and we are just a drop in the bucket of everybody else that's facing this challenge.
That's
So do you go, you know, next year, do I go and ask for $100,000, which is probably more like what we will put in if we still keep dealing with these wolves, maybe even more than that? Or do you go with more of a number that's feasible and that other people then can pull from the fund?
Absolutely. No, I appreciate it. And I think we all agree that your number's
you're
lower than it should be, but I think we're all happy to move along.
Yeah, and I know
moving
you're on
ahead
a time constraint.
Yeah, and I think, Linda, oh, you're on mute. Let's get you.
I certainly can support that and agree with that,
Okay.
what we've said.
So, okay, very good. So we're gonna go ahead and move along. The Northos, we're gonna absolutely put the 30,000 in for that. Now we're gonna move over to Stafford's. Coley Stafford, is requesting $20,000 in funds. They'll need to hire, and they had a depredation this year. They'll need to hire another ranch hand because of the wolf presence during calving season, which is the springing fall for night watch, and range riding in the summer while the cows are on the forest. They've had to purchase night vision device for night watch. So yeah, they're seeking funds for range riding. And we're requesting 20,000. As we know, they're in an area, they've had a depredation, they are an area that has a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And and I talked to them a little bit on the phone, they are absolutely gonna try to everything in their possibility to talk to Aaron Bott and everything about getting as much stuff up as I can to deter wolves. Well, it's already 20,000, I mean, that's another, we're asking for a lot and we'll see what the number gets, but I think they're definitely within the realm of accepting that 20,000.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Move along. What we got? Okay. So here's an interesting one. Trevor and Bobby Aldrich. Well, they live in Madras. I believe they have summer grazing here in Crook County. They're requesting 17,500. They have cattle here from April usually to December. They're gonna want to hire an extra person to help with wolf presence since wolf packs have made our lease land home. This person will need to be there all on the days we are not. So they're requesting 17,500.
And I can voice for them, so they neighbor us, they lease the property.
Okay.
And run cattle neighboring us that is again split between Crook and Grant, and I believe actually they have some in Harney too.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that part, but I know Crook and Grant, they are in a depredation zone, they had cattle missing that never could find.
Mhm.
Again, they're asking for a low number for as much as they were out too.
Yeah.
All of us during this wolf issue, trying to locate their missing cattle that they never.
Absolutely.
They can't even put in for them because they can't
Yeah,
find them.
that's fair.
Yeah, so I think it's all fair. They're running
How
calendar
much?
17,500.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I got no opposition with that. They're obviously gonna have calving breed back
They're on
issues.
Chris Myers.
Oh,
They have the forest allotment and then that land, the old Robertson place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and you okay with that, Linda? Oh, she put herself on
she
mute.
went,
Yeah, I think she left.
The dog.
I heard.
Her dog's barking, she's still there. She's okay. Yeah, we're okay.
No, the dog will.
So 67.5, is that, those were the only three asks?
No, there's another
Oh,
one.
there's another.
Oh, I got two more. Krebs Livestock, they've applied before, I believe, 2 years ago.
Who was it?
Krebs. The Cameron Krebs. They are seeking $10,250. For I believe they are sheep herders, and they have actually a really cool video on Facebook that shows that they've been using the Fox lights and putting up these rolls of the Gallagher fence for night bedding, and they're just requesting funds for 8 more rolls and wage for 2 hours per day for 220 days in Crook County. They do use guardian dogs. They're sheep herders. They use the spotlights, Bluetooth speakers, and night fence. I mean, I think 10,250. I mean, it's very accurate, very fair. They broke it down very well, and feel very comfortable with that.
Sounds good to me.
You with that, John?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sorry,
Very good.
I lost all my marbles or my head had rattled when
I think it's good too. So last one, and this is gonna be one of my neighbor, which is gonna be on Bonneview for Dow Ranches. Lonnie put in for 20,000, and he's seeking money for game cameras and just and range riders on the forest allotment. While they have not had a depredation, their neighbor, Aspen Valley, they've had depredations in the past. The 20,000 would be going towards at least 7 game cameras at a valuation of $300 a piece, and to hire a range rider at $4,000 a month for 4 months. So roughly 20,000. Game cameras are good tools for wolves that don't have collars, and good for tracking them. But yeah, he's a neighbor. I'm gonna let you guys decide on this one.
I think it's fair to ask for that because, what we will have to get down to the nitty gritty a little more once the funds are approved,
Absolutely.
so.
Yeah. I'm good with that, John.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
So I make a motion that we approve the application
For the
the way
non-lethal,
they stand.
okay, the way they stand for the non-lethal preventative techniques. I'll second that.
Second.
Okay, everybody, anybody opposed or for discussion? Ready in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let's see what there's. Say aye. Okay, and. Yeah, other than that, I just saying, yeah, I'll get all this information put in tomorrow for a deadline. Anybody have any questions or anything, any other topics they want to bring up?
Oh, looks good.
All looks good?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh,
Real quick question,
yeah,
going back to this card for the landfill. What kind of timeline do you guys think
I can,
for that?
I mean,
I guess,
anytime, I don't.
think we're doing it,
yeah. I would just schedule a meeting. I can come up with examples of what the card's gonna look like. I can email them to you. And then you just critique. And then from there, then we can get them printed out and
Yeah, I mean, pretty easy. I don't know,
Distributed.
how worried are we that people are gonna photocopy them? I mean, I just don't think that's.
I can make it pretty easy. I can make them simple, yeah.
Yeah.
Usually that bad karma, the wolf will come.
Yeah, so I don't think it's a big deal. Yeah, just we'll make them, I got a
Okay.
printer and.
So I'll make,
print 'em off.
okay, so make simple ones. We'll send them over to the landfill. They just have one on a copy so they know what it looks like.
Yeah.
And then we're good to go.
Then you just
Scale house.
And we can keep track between OSU and us of the landowners, and we'll just ask for name and producer and write it down.
Yeah.
So there's like that, just
Yeah.
checks and balances.
You know,
So
if
what,
you, go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if you know of a property or a ranch that needs a lot of cleanup real quick,
Yeah.
or they're gonna get started, you know, and we don't have those cards, if somebody just gives us like a heads up or
Yeah.
something.
You can contact me and I can. tell you.
Yeah.
Sounds
You can
good.
just call Jackie and Aaron directly at landfill.
You know, just, if you have a ranch hand or somebody, we're familiar with a lot of the people that live in Blynn, with that, the names of the ranches and stuff, but if you have like a ranch hand that comes in and just gives me a random name, then that's what makes it kind of difficult,
Mhm.
you know, but if you've got a property that needs a lot of cleanup real quick, or you're gonna get started, just, you know, phone call to Aaron or I, and
Yeah.
I'll just let everybody know there.
Yeah, and Ellie Gage had some for a little bit, and kept on the file.
Yeah.
And I have one of the
And
cards.
Ellie usually is pretty good about.
Yeah.
Still keeping in touch with me.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah,
And
so
are we having to keep track of like where, what property comes from, like, or any of that, or?
I just probably the number would be a good idea. I don't know about property. The money.
So what is the poundage and what's the money?
Yeah, and we can do that, we'll create a material for that, I'm just wondering, do we need, like,
I don't think where you're
which place it's coming from?
cleaning that property, you have a dead calf, you have to get out of there
We're
to
gonna be done,
Yeah.
because
Do-
the
so
only reason
it
we
doesn't
used
draw a
it
wolf.
was
I
because
don't
David came
see
out.
where
Yeah.
Because
in,
of.
Yeah, it should be,
the
yeah.
bone
in
issue.
discussion to keep that in.
But other than that, we bury every, I mean,
Yeah.
we won't really
But-
utilize it unless, and then, like, you guys still haul them off? Or
I mean-
where without David, no one, I mean, do you?
It should be
does
any
Crook even have
ho-
someone
is it
now
horse,
to help out?
cow,
I mean, so that's the thing.
any sheep. I mean, right,
Yeah.
but we're not taking
I'm just saying.
dogs, cats.
I'm willing-
I would assume not taking. So I mean, I don't think we should be subjective to the person if they're bringing in a cow. Because at least Crook County, I mean, we have wolves all 360 around us. From Warm Springs, shoes to, so I don't know how we limit, how do we say no to somebody who's got any stock?
You can.
You can't. So that's just it, we just let people know,
Yeah.
get the message out.
How do we let the producers know? that that's what they're-
I could be posting it on the Crook County Wolf page. Rebecca's too, and really spreading that page around, get people ready to know about it and post information. Yeah, Greg?
So I just want to point out, there is a private citizen that has a business that like picks up people's dead animals. And again, it's a little bit different than the wolf issue. So we get a lot of people calling us, I got a dead deer in my backyard, and it's like, we can't go pick up everybody's dead deer. So we refer him to this individual who then takes it to the dump and dumps it. And he does it for people's horses and cows that are dying, that die of natural causes. If we get, this is where this could go crossways. So I guess we want to be cognizant of that.
Mhm.
Because if everybody in Crook County knows this, and they, they're gonna call, where they're gonna get a card instead of calling this guy, and it's a private business, he's getting, I don't know, they probably paying $20 or something.
Oh, it's more than that.
More than that.
It's still, it's hundred,
$20.
it's hundred, I mean, I bet you for horse and cow, like, it's gonna be probably $150
Oh, I bet you
or
so.
200, I bet.
But how far does it go? I mean, you have wolves, obviously not right here in town, but how far does the compliance go?
Well, that's the hard part.
Grant County was a little harder on us than Crook County on like, if you have a single bone out in your meadow, you better pick it up to stay in compliance first.
But I heard there was one down in Van. Right down County Road.
Yeah, so I mean, that's where
Well, I know this, again, I'm throwing that out there.
yeah, well, yeah, people will abuse the system, hands down, but I mean, at the same breath though, if they're.
We get a lot of dead animals, I can tell you that.
Well, and that's what I mean though, is how, ODFW has told us they want every dead animal
Yeah.
removed. Well, then that would be for
County?
every dead animal in the
Yeah.
entire
No, I
Crook
know.
County area
That's
to be removed
Yeah.
if we're all staying in
Compliance, yeah.
compliance with what we've been told. So, I
No,
mean, that's so you're not gonna tell this person, even though they have 4 acres, that they can't use
Yeah, no,
the,
I'm 100% see
I
your
don't know.
logic, yeah.
I
it's-
mean,
It's just, that's the thing about, so.
Well, and how much funding do we actually have behind it? So, cause it
Yeah.
really comes down to the
How much
county
you can,
commissioners, you know.
I mean, I think in city limits, we shouldn't be worried about the cards too much.
No, but I'm just talking about like just, there's, I mean, like say you would be surprised at the amount of dead animals that we get up
Okay,
there
yeah,
daily.
yeah,
Could I just say something about that?
Yeah.
I'm obviously not from Crook County.
So
I would guess that.
what's your name?
Bill Mall, I live in Roseburg, Douglas
Okay.
County.
Sounds good.
I'm over here fishing Crooked River,
Oh, very nice.
staying in a motel, paying lodging tax, which, one thing I'd like to say before I go, it's House Bill 4134.
Correct.
I just wrote a letter today, email to Mike McLean.
Yep, yep,
Telling him to vote yes on that.
Yep.
And I would pay 1.25% more to the Oregon lodging tax. And I'm in the Desert Inn right now. I was in this one in Redmond earlier in the week, and I'll be down in Paisley at the Sage Inn later this weekend or next week. Hopefully if she wants in this great shape. But the card, so get that measure passed. And I don't know where, you might know.
Yeah.
Where it breaks out among the senators, because obviously the House has passed it.
mm-hmm,
If there's resistance, this is something. It's like the Oregon minimum wage, rural areas pay less per hour than urban areas like Portland. Likewise, the lodging tax that the state has is higher in urban areas and lower here. So my Desert Inn motel tab, even with its passage, won't go up, all that much. But regardless, it's going to the wolf. That's why I'm here tonight.
Mhm.
Because I saw in that Roundup magazine that this was a 4 o'clock meeting. That bill, passing that lodging tax, will increase the wolf depredation money.
Right.
And so I grew up on a dairy operation, born and raised on a dairy operation, north of of New York State capital, Albany, and south of Montreal. And so, farming, ranching, our high school team, like Crook County, was a great wrestling team. We were all squeezing cows in the morning going to school. So anyway, that was, I want to mention the tax thing. Also, this card you're talking about, because I live on the west side, even though I was around animals all the time, this whole thing of my ranch is in depredation area, and like what you said, all eastern Oregon, to some extent is, but particularly producers. If I take that animal in, the one that I have to clean up so it's not a food source, that's another burden on the producer. And I don't think people on the west side and legislatures on the west side appreciate that added one more stone in the load that has to be removed from the landscape so that we're not feeding them. And I go to Yellowstone and I watch those wolves come up in the morning and they all regurgitate in front of the pups, the pups all feed. But, that food source has to be removed from the landscape, and that card, this is where if the card kept track of the depredation animal and then the removal from food source removed from the landscape animal carcass, that would help show how heavy the burden is to people on the east side or west side who are, in either just the general public, but the legislatures.
Yeah, so you're saying that it's good to get a full number of how many animals are going to the landfill,
Because of wolves.
and then compare it to the amount of depredations that we have in the county?
Just so you have both numbers, so, cost and benefit, whatever the wolf benefit is, and wolf cost. Getting a dead animal off your property, just died of old age, it's a food source, that's another burden. And the card should reflect I think, it's all part, because I've been in this depredation area.
Yeah, and well, and you're right, it's a lot of, depending on where the animal dies, let's say you have a down cow.
Yep.
It's hard to get a tractor out there
Yeah,
in some areas to get it picked up. I like what you're saying, but you want documentation.
I think it's valuable. I think it's valuable
Yeah.
to discriminate between the two types, because right now you're just keeping track of one type, aren't you?
No, so what we collect at the scale house
Yeah.
is the name of the ranch or the person that's bringing it in. We label what animal, if it's an animal, like 1 horse, 2 cows, we put that out there. If it's an attractant pile, which is a bone pile or a gut pile or whatever, we're labeling that on that ticket also. So you're gonna see
Oh, so your
all
card-
of that.
your card
And then
is
it'll
also
have,
showing that.
it'll have a weight with a dollar amount assigned to it, so the cost and the weight's on there also. So that is all information we collect.
This new card, in the new card.
Need it.
coming in.
But the problem is like out there for Dorothy's, like, they might get the cost covered for dumping it up there, but they're gonna spend 3 times the amount in fuel.
Takes them an hour.
Taking
Yeah.
it.
And that's we don't typically
I
utilize
see.
the dump. Typically, we bury, which
Sure,
we've
sure.
had wolves
Backload.
dig
Yeah.
5 feet deep in the ground
And-
and almost get to the carcass. We have to dig real deep.
I grew up, like I
Yeah,
said, south of Quebec.
But they're right, like we typically bury.
From live.
We had a different situation where we had wildlife services come out. We had a
Dig it.
100-plus-year-old bone pit and
Yeah.
Grant County wanted us to clean it up. And so David came out and helped clean up a very, very old, that's, you know, that the wolves weren't going there, but to stay in compliance, we cleaned it up and took it to the dump.
But I do wanna thank you for making it out here, especially for being somebody out of town and paying attention to 4134, and
Yeah.
I really do appreciate you making it to our
I
meeting.
also encourage you to write both of our senators from Oregon and give them your feelings about delisting the gray wolf in the state of Oregon. That would be very appreciated, particularly where you're from.
Yeah,
For HR 845.
Yes.
yeah, I,
It's passed the House and it's now sitting at the Senate.
It's at the Senate, Finance Committee or Advisory Finance Committee at 5 o'clock.
No, you're talking about the transient. I'm talking about getting the delisted.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That I know.
So from being from Roseburg, it would be very appreciative if you could write
And
both of them.
what's the,
Merkley and Wyden.
I know.
Oh, HR 845. Urge a make a vote on HR 845.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Well,
Thank you.
And
Good luck catching those suckers.
White fish are there, that's for sure.
anything else for discussion?
Thank you.
I was just gonna add one thing to the dump. I know you guys have got, that sounds like you're cataloging a lot with what it is, where it came from. And you're saying you're burying, but you know, if we were to haul animals to you, if you recorded miles also, that would be an impact. You know, for cataloging all, and we,
Well, I think if
everything that we put into, and that's deterrent for these wolves is, you know,
we
it's
know
not
which
just.
range it's coming from though, then that can, you know what I mean? Like, cause I think if we start trying to get too much, like, it's gonna be too much.
Well, yeah, I know it would
Yeah,
be
the
so
scale
much
house
for you
to
guys,
do.
but
There's what the landfill has to do, right?
Yeah, I know.
Which we give you a really big head.
Or if there was a way that we could report, like, I took 2 calves to the dump, it was 200 miles round trip.
Mhm.
And, you know, just an average price. on
If it was
Yeah, but
only-
if you just put if you just put the address down, line to the dump, you know.
I don't know if you guys
whatever.
are at that point where you're cataloging all the impacts.
I mean,
You know, outside of.
But you see, that's a mitigate,
Applying.
that's a mitigation
So that-
technique.
so
So you can apply for funding for your driving. So if you keep track of that, you can apply for next year's on that,
Of a cost.
of the cost.
But
Yeah.
so I've never been to one of these meetings. I almost didn't come. We're just, you know, quiet people. We don't do much in this kind of stuff. But I mean, I've been keeping kind of a diary at home on everything. How detailed do you guys want us to get with this? I mean, I could write down,
The more information we have, the better we can,
Okay.
the better.
it is to justify.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've been trying
No,
to keep
I mean, that's-
really good records. And I have this that was just copied from my other kind of notes, but
I mean, it's really great because at the end of it, when we do give checks out, we can say, okay, this is exactly where this money's going towards, where it's went here, here and here. It's more detail, the better.
yeah. So then, I mean, as a producer, do you guys want us to apply every year? Cause obviously these, until the wolves, which aren't going away, we're gonna costs every year,
Yeah.
like this year, we'll put flagery around our wing calves this year.
Yeah, the burden shouldn't be taken just on you. You apply to us, we apply to the state.
Okay.
Show the state that we are in a position where we have more wolves, we're being affected, and it puts back on the state.
So what I'm understanding is then I document everything for 2026 and then I would apply again for 2027 with all of my 2026 information, because this is where
Yes.
Grant County confused me with Crook County a little bit, and I talked to you about it.
Yes, so
Okay.
this year, like right now, we're applying for depredations for last year, the cost,
Yes,
and for 2026 mitigation.
okay,
So then the one for the following year will be 2026 depredations and 2027 mitigation.
okay,
Yeah, we go, you're behind on the death, you're forward for preventing a death.
okay, which I think, and then I think Grant County though, I think ours is, theirs might be opposite, but that doesn't affect you guys.
No.
For their non-lethal. Okay.
That shouldn't be, they should.
I don't,
have
we talked to two people and they told us two different things and it's fine either way, but that's where I called you and I was a little confused by the date, if we go
Yeah.
past or present.
Sonny with ODA will get that
Okay.
resolved for them.
Okay,
Just to throw it out there, as far as the mileage, that's actually not a very difficult thing for us to track. If
Okay.
we just build a material that says mileage, if they pull in and say, I drove 100 miles, we just assign whatever rate to that material, so we just pull up the material, we type in however many miles, it calculates, if that's like a 20-second
Okay,
stroke, it's not much.
very good, so they can pull up and say the mileage, or have it written on their card what their
Yeah.
average mileage usually is
As
driving
long as they
down.
have the amount, we just put mileage, we'll put in whatever they say, and we'll have it built out with whatever you guys or whoever, like you want 30 cents a mile, 50 cents a mile, whatever you guys pick,
Mhm,
we'll just assign that to that material.
mhm.
All we do is put in the miles and automatically it'll calculate it out.
It might be a good thing to add to the card where someone can handwrite their mileage maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if we wanna go with mileage tracking,
If it's not something you want.
If not- maybe not, maybe just best for them to apply for mitigation, put funds and their mileage and.
Probably the cards, you just wanna make a standard where a reusable card.
Yeah, get them laminated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, we'll get them
Once you
laminated.
don't get the bugs up and they can
Yeah.
give back.
Yeah, we'll get them made and get them laminated and make nice cards.
and I didn't know what the
Well,
mileage, just.
Do they even need to turn it in?
Well,
The dump's gonna send a record to the county.
No, they just need to show them. I had a
They
card,
should keep their card.
No.
keep the card.
You-
yeah.
you will need to sign it. They'll have a signature on there and it's a reusable card. Almost like, just imagine like an ID, it can be your ID without a picture. And now, is there anything else we'd like to talk about? No?
No, she has one more thing.
Oh, okay.
Just kind of, not to like, touch on the mileage, but I think my point in it was, if you guys as a committee needed a compilement, if, maybe we don't want to apply for funding for hauling 3 calves.
Okay,
But you guys as a committee, you might wanna know that these people from Paulina came, if it was, we took 1 calf at a time, that's 300 miles. So if you ever have to go to Salem or any other type of statewide, nationwide, you have a compiled number of, this is what our citizens, our producers are putting into this outside of applying for funds.
And that's where data,
Mhm.
everything that we can gather for data helps make the case.
Yeah. Yeah,
No, that is my way of thinking of the tracking, is more lobbying
Yeah.
than
Yeah, then you have a
asking for money back, because you're gonna come, and I live in Paulina, and you're gonna go to Napa, and you're
Yeah,
gonna go to
it's-
the grocery store.
Going to the dump isn't the only thing
Yeah,
you're doing.
we're kind of roundabout 40 errand people, so the lobbying part of it is more important.
absolutely.
You could put a sheet together, well, Jackie can hand it to you, and that's impactful.
Well, I guess the
Absolutely.
question on top of that then, is any wolf committee in these other counties compiling the costs for their county's producers. So let's say, yeah, we only asked for 30,000. Obviously, we had a lot more. Has any county ever actually tried to compile from producers what they're truly, the money that they're spending on their own to mitigate wolf conflict?
Oh, so finding out like
Yeah,
what they're
like,
actually spending?
yeah.
What the
Outside?
actual cost is?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Just out of curiosity, because that number would be,
I can ask that and
Okay.
see it,
Big-
I'll ask that.
Yeah.
You know, but again, it's just like I was with Eastern Oregon and Lisa Collier just said that they did January 1st to December 31st, they have 100 deprivations in Walla County, so you talk about.
Yeah.
Getting the paperwork going, you know.
Yeah.
But they're very lucky because they're, they can go out and do it.
Absolutely.
But I think the lobbying part would be really important.
Yeah, I mean, the more information we have, the more.
Anything you don't know what is gonna catch their attention. And you're sitting there and you have 10 minutes and you try to get as many stabs in as you can, but you don't know what is it that's gonna catch their attention. And maybe that would be part of it.
And personally,
Historically,
oh, go ahead.
historically, ranchers just handle it.
Exactly, that's
That's what we do. We just handle it. But by just handling it, we're not helping ourselves, we're not helping our neighbors, we're not helping the situation. Thank you for coming in,
it's,
because it's what you're doing now is what it's gonna take to make people aware of just how bad it is.
Yeah.
well, and I think that's important for all producers is, one, you hit the nail on the head. Greg knows, we dealt with depredations and we had a Crook County depredation in 2023, I believe was that one that we had in Crook County. We had others in Grant County again. Ranchers deal with problems silently. It is hard to get ranchers to be vocal about an issue, and it's why the other side has always been so loud as we've been so quiet. And, you know, I think the same, I went into it differently too, is ranchers need to be contacting ODFW and letting them know about wolf sightings that I know people have not. I've gotten videos from neighbors. Here's a different wolf that ODFW doesn't know about, but they
But
won't,
Greg never hears it.
but they won't send the video to you because, you know, everybody wants to be the tough guy and say they're gonna handle it, and I'm not gonna speak out of turn, but one, they aren't, and they're not going to because of, you know,
Well, maybe
ramifications.
just gritting your teeth and burying the cow, moving on, and that's not, nobody knows.
Well, and it's the same with us not calling you out, and Gary and Kelly and I agreed, like, when those we had, you know, 2 sets of weaned calves run through the fence, and we should have had you guys
Yeah,
out, and we didn't.
And the other part of this too, is that money that you guys are approving is making, you know, taking the place of an employee
Yeah,
that just got, the funding got pulled from them. So that's the other side of this. The federal government put through NRCS had funding for non-lethal to assist ranchers, and that funding went away. So there's gotta be help for these people. Like, you have to have help, and like, otherwise they're doing it themselves, and they've got other stuff to do. You know, it's.
And you want them to follow your rules.
And you gotta follow the rules and coexist. You have to help them.
so.
I mean, I think we're all in agreement. I mean, this is.
Greg, who do we contact? I mean, who I've talked to about trying to get David his job back is I was told to call Bridget, and I got her number sent to me. I talked to Emily Weiner. I've talked to Nick Myatt about the situation too. But who do we contact to try to, I know it has to go through legislation and
Yeah.
funds
You
have
need
to
a
be
motion?
approved, but who is the best people to talk
Yeah.
to advocate for David?
I would say all those people, Aaron might have a better.
We can do it there.
Contact info, but
Okay.
like it is.
Yeah, so there's nothing else.
Yeah.
Meeting adjourned, the time is,
I believe it was, yeah, that's
6:55?
what Gary told me,
Okay.
cause I'm happy to
6:54.
make phone calls and advocate for him because he did,
Um,
I mean, he did help us.
have anybody second the motion?
But I.
I'd
this is
second.
just
5:54.
information that
5:54.
sometimes-
Second. Everybody in favor, say, anybody opposed?
I'll find out.
Everybody in favor, say aye.
Well, I know, maybe.
Well, from my point of view.
Because this is more of a sidebar conversation.